City and Guilds International Spoken ESOL Test, Expert Level. Today's date is the 17th of June 2011. Martin Palinkash. Test begins. My name's Nigel Taylor. Can you spell your family name for me, please?
Well, it's Palinkas.
Thank you. And where are you from?
I'm Hungarian. I'm from the countryside. I'm from Eger. It's a smaller town, about 120 kilometers from the capital, from Budapest.
Okay, thank you. Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and your ideas. All right?
All right.
Now, the first topic is interior design. If you had a lot of money, how would you like to decorate your home?
Well, interior design and decoration, it's not an easy question, because I myself, I quite like the rugged materials, so perhaps I would choose a flat or a house which made of stone, or perhaps some wooden parts of it. So to start with the interior design, I think first of all I should choose my flat and the basic materials it's made of, and then that helps a bit, because once I've got a line and the basic idea, then I can choose the color. I prefer the pastel colors and not which are not so hard and vibrating. A lot depends on the light as well, and how much light do I have, and of course that raises the question of weather, on which country I am. Usually I like to use the materials and the ideas of the local area where I am. I cannot imagine, for example, a Mediterranean style in the Alps. So I would try to do that way.
Okay, and just briefly, in daily life, why do you think some people are workaholics?
Well, that raises the question of nowadays life and schedule. I have some workaholic friends. They're youngsters, just at the beginning of their lives, mainly working for international companies and working 10-12 hours a day. I think they are trying to establish their life, and that's the way how they start. They can go on. They can raise in the company.
Thank you.
So
that's fine.
That's fine.
Moving on to part 2. Now, I'm going to read some situations. I want you to start or respond as necessary. The first situation is, I'm interviewing you and I start. In your opinion, what makes you suitable for this job?
Well, I think that the most important thing is that I'm really interested in this part of work life. Of course, I have the necessary education and diplomas and all the qualification and the necessary qualifications. But I think, and I would like to underline, is that I'm especially interested and motivated in this part of the market.
Okay. Now, the second situation is, I'm a relative, and you've heard that I've had some bad news. You start.
Well, hi Nigel, how are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while.
Ah, no, it's true. I've had some, bad things happen.
I happened to hear about it, and how are you getting on?
Well, it's tough. you know, but got to go forward.
Do you have somebody to talk to, or do you need a hand?
Well, it's difficult, really. Difficult to talk to people about it, but, you know, you can always maybe come for a coffee around my place.
You can always count on me. We've known each other for a long time, and you can rely on me and give me a call if you want.
Okay, right. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. Moving on now to part 3. In part 3, in this part of the test, we're going to discuss something together. All right?
All right.
Now, we live in a shared flat, and we're looking for a third person to rent a spare room we have. Let's discuss what's important to us about the person and put our ideas in rank order of importance. Take 20 seconds to think about what you want to say. Why don't you start?
All right. Well, about the new flatmate. During my few years of university, I've had some experience with flatmates. I think the most important for me, as you know, I've just finished my university yesterday, in fact, and I'm going to start working the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important for me, it would be the schedule and the timetable. You know, it's just normal and basic things, but student life is I might say it differs from everyday's working life. So I wouldn't be really happy if there would be someone having party.
I agree with what you're saying, but what about habits? I mean, for me, habits are really important. When they don't put things away, when they're really untidy, isn't that important for you?
Well, of course. I mean, it's just when looking for your socks, and you always find it in the very last place where you think of looking for it, and then you find out that the new flatmate has just thrown it out to the bin. But of course, habits are also important. But we can always find a solution and talk to the other. I mean, if he's a normal and an average guy, I think we could agree.
Okay.
We can find some
What
common
about any
points.
other ones?
Well, about financial viability, that would be important. I mean, the weekly cost of this flat is I think we are really in the need of a third party. So
Right.
so we should share it into 3.
But how do we make sure they've got money? How do we make sure?
Well, it depends. Have you got any idea if he's a student or
think
somebody
student.
older working?
Student.
I think we should have a few good words with him and or her. Him or her?
Him.
Him.
Yeah.
We should talk to him and perhaps we can find out something about his family background or.
Okay. What about the other things that are here? For me, the personality is quite
Personality.
important. Yeah.
Well, that's something to do with habits and.
Mm-hmm. And also experience of flat sharing. Have they done it before?
If he ties up the kitchen after himself, or what we're going to do, I wouldn't be really happy to do the washing up after someone else. So
Exactly.
it's enough to do it after myself. For you sometimes.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's try to get some sort of order. What's the most important?
Well, for me, I'll stick to the first one. The most important for me is the timetable and the schedule.
All right. I agree, but for me, after that, it's got to be the financial viability. Can they pay? Can we have that second?
And how can we reassure that he's going to or willing to?
Maybe ask for some money in advance?
A deposit, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that the average deposit, it's about 1 or 2 months.
I'll go for 2 months, just to make
2
sure.
months, yeah. All right, that's fine. That's gonna do.
Okay, so that's second. After that?
Yeah, the financial viability, the university timetable, and the personality. We will have coffee.
Okay, 3. Experience of chat flowing, that's pretty important for me. And habits. That'll do.
That do.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. In part 4, you are going to talk on your own for 2.5 minutes. Your topic is keeping safe when out late. First, think about it for 30 seconds and make some notes if you wish. So your topic is keeping safe when out late. All right?
All right.
Martin Paninkash, please start.
Alright, going out in nightlife is, well, it's a complicated question. I think I might start with the location. For me, for example, London Soho is not the Hungarian countryside, so it, of course, a lot depends on where you are. I have been lucky to be some places, for example in Northern Africa and into the UK, and the local habits, how they react to some unexpected situations, how they treat each other, the boys and girls, how far you can go, it differs all around the world. And I must underline therefore the importance of local knowledge and local habits. Of course, a lot depends on whether you are a boy or a girl. It's completely different with going out, even if you're alone or if you're in some party or with some friends. When you're a boy and you're just having some beers and boozing and chatting and whatever, or when you're going out and you happen to be a girl, and then you might find yourself in some tricky situations. What are you planning to do? And I would like to highlight your the habits and your bad habits, if you have any. I'm talking now about the question of alcohol, whether you take it or not, whether you lose your self-control after a beer or not, and of course a lot depends on your friends as if you're going out with them. Let's take, for example, an average situation. You're celebrating your birthday, you're going out, you've had some beers, but if there is somebody to look after you, then that could change a bit the outcome of some situations.
I understand. Despite what the media tells us, life is no more dangerous now than before. Do you agree?
Well, I don't really agree. Let's take, for example, what I mentioned, the first London town and the London Soho. Well, walking around, I've seen so many people, so many different people that with different habits, which I think has changed in the British capital during the past few years and few decades. When I've talked to some friends of ours who happened to grow up in London. Well, she told me some completely different nightlife. She told me about a completely different nightlife when she was of that age, and then she used to go out.
Okay, thank you. This is the end of the test. Marton Belinkash, end of test.